How's it going, everyone? Hope everyone's doing all right. I just wanted to make this video to do an update on all the reading and book related stuff on my channel. I have been keeping up with my reading. Sorry that I've kind of taken a break from YouTube a little bit. I've been busy with some real life stuff. But yeah, I'm not sure about when the next reviews are going to be coming out. Maybe when I finish Oathbringer, I'll do that. I talked about it in my video a couple days ago that I'm not really sure I'm going to do reviews on books that I've read in the past. It's kind of hard for me to talk about it when it's not really fresh in my mind. But what I wanted to do today was just give you guys an update of where I'm at in the Cosmere, because that's the main series I've been reading right now. And so I'm just going to go through the publication order and kind of just give a quick summary and how I felt reading each book. I pretty much followed this list exactly. I started with Elantris. There was like one thing I think I did differently. I think I read The Emperor's Soul right after I finished The Hope of Elantris, because it was just related to that world, barely. But yeah, I think pretty much everything else I did in order. When starting, I was looking into it a lot of what book to start with, and the Cosmere already looked interesting to me, so that's why I was like, okay, I'll just start with Elantris. But to be honest, it really doesn't matter. Like, there's no tie-in at all so far. And I'm on Oathbringer, this last book down here. And I do have White Sands to read still. But so far there's really no tie-in with Elantris. So it's okay to start on, I would suggest Mistborn personally, if you're looking for a trilogy to read. Or if you do just want a one-off book to read, Warbreaker. Definitely read Warbreaker before starting the Stormlight Archives, I would say. But yeah, so starting with Elantris, I already heard from the reviews that it was a bit slower. It's not Brandon's best writing, and it's more political focused, and it's just not his best, but it's still good. So I already knew that going into it. I just enjoyed it. I read it kind of slowly in the beginning until I got about halfway, and then once it's kind of started picking up towards the end, I just ended up finishing it that same day. And I do like the ending of the book. It's definitely a little bit slower, but it was one of my first books getting back into fantasy after a while, so I still really enjoyed it. The Hope of Elantris is just a really small short story, and it's just kind of about some random side character at the end of Elantris, her little version of what happens. And I think he wrote it for someone, a girl he knew in real life, like a little girl. It was for some event or something. So nothing really important happens in there, but it's still if you want to see a little bit different side of the end of Elantris, it's a good read. And it's really fast. I think it's like one chapter length. And then after that, you start with Mistborn, the whole trilogy. I really enjoyed Mistborn. The first book is still my favorite, I think. Just the whole magic system I really like. He did a really good job of like always getting my imagination running and thinking about different possibilities and stuff. So I really liked Mistborn. Plus the characters are pretty charming. Vin's still one of my favorite characters, same with Kelsey. The original trilogy is definitely much more the like epic fantasy. Or the second trilogy, I actually ended up really liking the second trilogy towards the end. I guess it's not really a trilogy. There is a fourth book coming out for it, but so far it's a trilogy. Yeah, I would say for Mistborn, the first book I liked the best. Then probably The Hero of Ages, the third book, was my second favorite. And then Well of Ascension was my third. But they're all pretty close. I read them all back to back, so it kind of just felt like one long continuous story. Yeah, I enjoyed it all the way through. So next up was Warbreaker. A lot of people suggest this book as the first book to read if you're just getting into the Cosmere, just because it's one of his little bit later books. It's really good. I liked it. It has some pretty charming characters. It's the most Disney-like story. I don't know. I kind of hate to say because I don't really like Disney, but just that it has a pretty good ending. I mean, it's not all good. Definitely there's some twists and things that are sad that happens, but overall it's a pretty, just kind of more upbeat, I felt like, than some of the other stories. And the magic's a little bit more mystical, and it's about colors. So people can like absorb the color from things, and then it gives them certain abilities. It was an interesting magic system. And I really liked the main character, like Siri, and the king was really good. I would say you're totally fine if you want to start off with Warbreaker. It's a pretty good intro to the series. That or Mistborn. Okay, then up next is The Way of Kings. This one was definitely really good. The world building's definitely some of his best, and the character development, it goes more in depth into the characters than probably any of his other books. The only thing for me, The Way of Kings, because I was expecting a lot. I had suggestions from a lot of people that Stormlight Archives is the best. A lot of people said Way of Kings is just the best one, best of Brandon Sanderson's books, period. But me personally, I thought it was really good, but I did actually enjoy Words of Radiance, the second book, better. I liked it a lot more. Not a lot more. I liked it better because some of the slower build up from the Way of Kings started paying off in the second book. So it was just really exciting for me. Yeah, the first book does a really good job of setting up the story for Stormlight Archives. The only thing is there's not too much magic in the first book. I mean, there's magical things going on, but like you don't really see the main character using magic so much as you do in like Mistborn, for example. Like first book, Vin becomes pretty strong, so it's not quite like that. It's much more of a slower build. But yeah, Way of Kings is still definitely on the top of my list. Then is the Alloy of Law. I actually did a review of that on my channel. And yeah, I enjoyed it. Again, this was another one that I knew going into it. It wasn't going to be as grand epic as Mistborn. Like I kind of read through some reviews already, so I knew what to expect. I was kind of surprised the second and third book, though. It really did kind of pick up for me, and I really started to like the characters and get attached to them. Yeah, I have to say, I'm a fan of Era 2. I do. I like it. I can't wait for the fourth book of it. I'm not going to say I liked it better than Mistborn Era 1, but it's different, but I still like it. And I don't know what people are talking about. They say that it doesn't have the grand epic feel or anything. I feel like it's almost setting up for something even bigger than Mistborn 1. Because I feel like this Era 2 Mistborn ties more into the Cosmere as a whole than Mistborn Era 1 did. So we'll see with the fourth book, but I feel like it could be definitely much more of an epic threat that people have complained that wasn't there. Some people complain about Wayne. I don't really mind him that much. He had some lines that were cringy, but I feel like that was just kind of a part of his character. That was the point. The 11th Metal is a short story about Kelsier, about where he found the 11th metal from, and you do get a glimpse at another character that I don't remember if it's mentioned in Mistborn or not. He does mention him somewhere else, I think maybe in Mistborn Secret History. It was cool to see another side of Kelsier before everything that happens in Mistborn, and kind of where he learned some of his abilities and things like that, and see him on more of the thieving side of things. It was cool. I enjoyed it. Yeah, Emperor Soul, I already talked about. It does take place in the same world as Elantris, but I think on a different continent or something, and the magic is a bit different, and it's about a completely different character, so it's not really too tied into Elantris at all. That was actually a pretty good short story. I would say that was one of my favorite short stories by Brandon Sanderson, and it's a little bit of a longer one also. All right, next up, Shadows for Silence in the Forest of Hell. There's a review of that on my channel as well, or more of a summary. So you could check that out if you want to hear more, but that one was pretty interesting as well. I really hope he does another story on that planet, because that planet's pretty gnarly. It's actually mentioned in another short story in Mistborn Secret History. I don't know if that's a spoiler, but they do just mention the name of that planet, so maybe there's going to be a bigger tie-in later. But that story is pretty intense. It's good. Okay, the next up was Words of Radiance. This one I was pleasantly surprised, because the first half of the book was kind of similar to The Way of Kings, pacing-wise. It just kind of felt like a continuation. I was enjoying it. It was good. But as soon as I hit the halfway point of the book, I was like, oh my god, and I just ended up finishing up the whole book, I think, in like 2 days. It was really good. Towards the ending was really something else, because I don't know, it's hard to talk about without spoilers. This might be slight spoilers, but it takes a little while for some of the main characters to finally meet up in the stories, and kind of towards the end they all start to come together, of the Words of Radiance, and you get more interaction between the main characters that you've been hearing about for so long, or they've been getting developed for so long. That whole aspect of it was really cool for me. The magic system really starts to ramp up by this point, and kind of Kaladin's comeback. I won't say anything else. It was really good. That one I was surprised, because everyone says The Way of Kings is the best, so I was like, oh, I know this book's gonna be really good, but it's not going to be better than The Way of Kings, but I actually liked it better. Okay, then Sixth of Dusk takes place on a different planet, first of all, but the magic system is based off these birds. Like, there's these birds that grow up on these islands. I can't go too much into how that happens, because spoilers, but the main guy in the story, like, he lives on a very dangerous island, and the bird warns him of things that might kill him. So if he's walking down a path, then he sees visions of himself dead, and he'll be like, okay, I can't go that direction. But I don't know, I just thought it was cool. It was a little bit of a different story from Brandon Sanderson, I would say. Just different feeling, because it's more like on a tropical, swampy island. I thought it was a cool switch up. I kind of would like to see more from this planet also. I think I read somewhere in like the afterthoughts of the story that Brandon Sanderson said he wasn't planning on building anything more on the planet. I could be wrong about that, or he could change his mind. Then it was Elementor Jack, another short story. This one, you hear glimpses about Elementor Jack in Mistborn Era 2. He's in some of the newspaper posts that you see. Every once in a while in the chapters, there'll be a news page, and you read some of his stories. And so this is like an actual story from his perspective. It's pretty short. I think it was like just a chapter's length, and it's just a short, exciting story. And he's kind of goofy, Elementor Jack, so it was entertaining. Yeah, I read Brandon Sanderson really just made that story just to kind of expand a little bit more on the Era 2 world and show you do get to see a Kalos and human hybrid. So you kind of get to see a little bit more of a different race, just to expand the lore a little bit, I guess. But yeah, it was a good story. Then Shadows of Self and the Bands of Mourning, I already talked about that a little bit. Those are the second 2 books of Mistborn Era 2. And that was when I really started to like Era 2. Shadows of Self and Bands of Mourning both. Was actually not sad when it ended because I was going into Oathbringer, but still I was like, dang, can't wait for Era 2 Book 4. That's going to be tight. Okay, then is Mistborn Secret History. This one I was a little bit nervous about because I've heard it's really good from some people, and I've heard it's really bad from other people, just reading online. Not really bad, but just some people didn't like it because I could see why. I'm not really sure how I feel about it. I still really enjoyed seeing the perspective that it comes from. It takes place mostly during Mistborn Era 1, Book 1, just Mistborn. Yeah, I can't really talk about it without spoilers. It's all spoilers. They say like don't read that until after reading all Mistborn. But you do find out a lot of stuff, just bigger Cosmere things in that story. So I really enjoyed it for that. As far as what happens with one of the characters in there, I don't know how I feel about it yet. Reading Brandon Sanderson's notes after the story made me feel a little bit better about it because he said he's been planning this for a long time. Like if he just randomly threw that in there, I don't know. But if he's been planning it, then good. White Sands, let me show you guys. I've got all 3 White Sands right here. So I haven't started reading them yet. These are graphic novels that apparently are part of the Cosmere. I don't know how hard they tie into it, but they do look pretty good. I like the art style, and I read just the first like intro, and it seems pretty good. I think it's going to be a good read. Not sure how long they'll take to go through. I haven't read any comics or graphic novels or anything since I was a kid, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. Yeah, volume 1 was pretty hard to find. The second 2 I ordered off Amazon for normal price with Prime. Volume 1 I could not find, and I accidentally ordered a French version, so I was pretty disappointed when that showed up. For some reason, the French version, though, the book is like twice as big as this one. It's actually pretty huge. But anyways, I had to go return that yesterday, and the shipping was very expensive because it shipped from Great Britain. Anyways, I'll let you guys know how these are once I read through them. I'm excited to get to that. I'll probably read them after Oathbringer. So going from White Sands into Edge Dancer, you hear about a side character in Words of Radiance because there's these interludes in the story, and there's one about this character named Lift. So Edge Dancer is about Lift, and she's already appeared in Oathbringer a couple times now. Yeah, I don't know. I read online some people hate her, some people like her. I think she's funny. She's a good... Stormlight Archives is definitely a lot more serious than some of the other stories, so I feel like she kind of brings a little bit of balance to it, but if she gets too involved, it might be kind of annoying. Like, she definitely made this one part with Dalinar pretty cringy, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't know. But I did enjoy Edge Dancer, though. It was pretty good, and I liked her most in Edge Dancer. All right, and then Dawn Shard. I think it should be coming out any day now. Let me look into it right now. I've been checking on the release date every once in a while. I'm sure I'll see it pop up on YouTube from Brandon Sanderson himself. Yeah, so far it just says October, and as of this video, it's October 30th, so it's supposed to come out before Rhythm of War, especially, so it might come out sometime in the next week or 2. So I'll be giving that a read, and I'll probably make a video about that too. And then Rhythm of War, that's the next book that's coming out, November 17th. I can't wait. I just have like 500-ish pages left to read of Oathbringer. I just finished part 2. I've been trying to savor the last bit. I'll probably end up reading most of it in the last week. I'll blast through it. Real quick, we could take a look at the chronological order if you guys want to see how it differs. Apparently White Sands is first, so that's why I'm most excited for that, because I wonder if it'll set anything up for the Cosmere. Then Elantris, this kind of follows the publication order a little bit. Actually, quite a bit. Yeah, it actually kind of does. Except for the Era 2 is the latest. So that means most of the things that happen in the Cosmere is happening between Mistborn Era 1 and Mistborn Era 2. I wonder how far in the past White Sands is. Anyways, you guys, that's about it for this video. I wanted to kind of give an overview of all the books, because I don't know if I'll be going into reviews of any of those ones I've read in the past, and just to let you guys know where I'm up to right now. And yeah, thank you for anyone who watched, and take it easy. Enjoy your guys' Halloween if you can. I'm sure this Halloween's gonna suck this year, but if you guys can find something safe and fun to do, please enjoy yourself. Carve some pumpkins or something. Anyways, take it easy. Later.